Welcome to Stairway to English. Today we bring you the inspiring story, No Victory Without a Fight. Listen, read, and practice your English with us. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Episode 1: The Fight That Gives Meaning to Victory. No victory is won without a fight. This is a truth that people learn again and again in life. When you look at history, when you look at sports, when you look at personal success stories, you will always see one clear pattern. Nothing great comes easy. People want to achieve something big, but they must pay a price. The price is usually hard work, patience, pain, and courage. If you run away from the fight, you also run away from the victory. This is why life teaches us that struggle is not something to fear, but something to accept as part of the journey. Imagine a young student who wants to pass an important exam. At first, the dream feels exciting. The student imagines success, good results, and the happiness of making their family proud. But soon, the reality comes. The books are heavy, the topics are difficult, and the nights are long. The student feels tired. The mind whispers, maybe this is too hard. Maybe you are not strong enough. This is the fight. It is not only against the books, but also against the voice of doubt inside the head. If the student gives up, there will be no victory. But if the student continues, if they push forward step by step, then the fight becomes the way to success. The same truth can be seen in sports. A runner does not win the race on the day of the competition only. The real fight is in the training, in the days when the body hurts, when the muscles burn, and when the runner feels weak. Every drop of sweat is part of the fight. Every moment of pain is building strength. On the day of the race, people see the medal and the smile. But behind the medal is the story of a fight. Without that fight, there would be no victory to celebrate. Life itself is like a battlefield. Not always with weapons, not always with enemies you can see. Sometimes the fight is against your own laziness. Sometimes it is against fear. Sometimes it is against failure and the disappointment that follows. Every person faces battles that others cannot see. A parent who wakes up early every morning to work for their children is fighting a battle. A young person who studies while others play games is fighting a battle. A worker who saves money for a better future is fighting a battle. These battles may not look dramatic, but they are real, and every small fight brings a person closer to their personal victory. It is important to understand that victory feels sweet only because of the fight. If things come too easy, they lose their value. Imagine receiving a medal without running the race. It would not feel right. It would not give you pride. Pride is born in effort. Pride is born in the fight. That is why we remember the words, "No victory is won without a fight." It means that the fight gives meaning to the victory. Think about history's greatest leaders and heroes. They all faced huge fights. Some were on the battlefield, some were in politics, some were in science, and some were in art. Great leaders were not born in comfort. They were shaped in the fire of struggle. Every invention, every discovery, every social change came after a long fight. If people had given up, if they had chosen comfort instead of courage, we would not have the progress we see today. But there is another side to this truth. The fight is not always about winning against others. Often the biggest fight is inside yourself. The fight to wake up early when you want to sleep. The fight to stay calm when you want to shout. The fight to forgive when you want to hate. These are invisible fights, but they are the most important ones. Winning against yourself makes you stronger, and that strength prepares you for the bigger victories outside. So the lesson of this episode is clear. Accept the fight. Do not wish for an easy road. Wish for strength to walk the hard road. Remember that no victory is won without a fight, and when the fight comes to you, it is not your enemy. It is your chance to grow, your chance to become stronger, your chance to win something real. This is only the beginning of the journey. In the next episode, we will go deeper into the different kinds of fights people face and how each one shapes the person you become. Always remember, without the fight, there is no victory. And with the fight, there is always the possibility of transformation. Episode 2: The Road of Struggles and Lessons. When we look at life, we see that every great achievement carries a story of effort, failure, and persistence. No one wakes up in the morning and becomes a champion without walking through the road of challenges. This road is not always easy. In fact, it is often full of mistakes, doubts, and difficult emotions. But in those very struggles, people find the lessons that make them stronger and wiser. Without those lessons, success would feel empty, and victory would have no true meaning. Think about a student learning a new language. At first, the student may feel excited and ready, but soon, mistakes begin to appear. Wrong words, incorrect grammar, slow speaking, and moments of silence can feel very heavy. The student may even think, "I will never be good at this." Yet, if the student accepts that mistakes are part of the process and keeps practicing, something amazing happens. The mistakes become the teachers, and each failure becomes a small step toward victory. In the end, the student realizes that the fight with mistakes was necessary to gain real skills. The same is true in sports. A runner cannot achieve a gold medal without years of training. Training means pain, sweat, and discipline. Sometimes the runner feels tired and wants to stop. Sometimes they fail in competitions. But each failure builds character. It teaches patience, mental strength, and focus. Finally, when the runner wins, the medal is not just a piece of metal. It is a symbol of all the struggles, the fights, and the lessons. Without the hard road, the medal would be meaningless. In life, small daily struggles also teach us lessons. Waking up early, being disciplined, controlling emotions, or staying focused may look like little fights. But every small fight adds to our strength. They prepare us for bigger challenges. If we avoid all fights, we become weak. If we accept them, we grow. This is why no victory comes without struggle. Even the struggles we think are too small can prepare us for something much greater in the future. History also gives us strong examples. Many leaders, inventors, and thinkers faced rejection, poverty, and failure before they achieved success. They were not born victorious. They learned through their battles with life. For example, inventors often failed hundreds of times before discovering something important. Their failures did not destroy them. Instead, they became stepping stones to success. Imagine if they had given up after the first or second failure. We would not have many of the things we enjoy today. we must also remember that not every fight is against the outside world. Many times, the hardest fight is against ourselves. Laziness, fear, doubt, and negative thoughts are like invisible enemies inside us. They whisper, "You cannot do it," or "It is too hard." If we listen to them, we lose before we even try. But when we choose to fight against them, when we say, "I will try anyway," we discover how strong we really are. That inner fight is often the greatest one, and it makes every victory sweeter. So, the road of struggles is not something to fear, it is the natural way of life. The important thing is how we walk on this road. Do we give up when the path becomes difficult, or do we keep moving with patience and courage? Every step forward, even the smallest one, is a silent victory. Every fall teaches us to rise again. This is why victory always demands a fight, and the fight always brings us lessons. In the end, what matters most is not the easy path, but the meaningful one. Struggles shape us, challenges guide us, and victories crown us. The lesson is clear. Embrace the struggle, because inside every struggle lives the seed of victory. Episode 3: The Inner Battle That Shapes You. When people think about battles, they usually imagine fighting with others, competing, or facing obstacles in the outside world. But the greatest battle a person can face is often not outside. It is inside the mind and heart. This inner battle is about controlling fear, doubt, laziness, and negative beliefs. It is about choosing courage when fear tries to stop you, and choosing action when laziness whispers to wait. Victory in this inner battle is the foundation for all other victories in life. Think about the fear of failure. Many people never even start their dreams because they are afraid of failing. They ask, "What if I make mistakes? What if others laugh at me?" These questions keep them frozen, and the dream slowly dies in silence. But if you step into the fight and say, "I may fail, but I will try," you begin to win. Even a small action against fear is a big victory. You prove to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. Another enemy inside us is laziness. Laziness seems soft and comfortable. It says, "Rest more, do it later, tomorrow is a better time." But laziness steals progress little by little. Days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months. When people finally look back, they realize nothing has changed. Fighting laziness means creating discipline. It means choosing to do the work even when you don't feel like it. That fight is not easy, but each time you win against laziness, you build inner power. Negative thoughts are also powerful enemies. Sometimes the voice in our head says, "You are not good enough. You are too weak. You will never succeed." If we believe this voice, it becomes our reality. But the truth is, these are only thoughts, not facts. When we learn to answer back with courage, saying, "I am learning, I am improving, and I can grow," the negative voice loses its strength. That is a battle worth fighting every single day. The inner battle also includes patience. In a world where people want quick results, patience feels heavy. But growth takes time. Seeds do not turn into trees overnight. Muscles do not become strong after one workout. Learning a new skill is not possible in just one day. Patience is the weapon that keeps you standing when nothing seems to change. Fighting impatience allows us to trust the process and stay focused on the bigger goal. We can see this clearly in the lives of great achievers. Athletes wake up early to train, even when their bodies want to rest. Writers continue writing even when their mind feels blocked. Students study day after day, even when the results are not immediate. These people are fighting inner battles. Their victories over laziness, fear, and doubt are what make their external successes possible. Without winning inside, they could never win outside. But this battle is not something we fight once and finish. It is a daily fight. Every morning, we face a choice. Do we listen to weakness, or do we choose strength? Do we stay in bed, or do we rise and move? Do we believe the negative voice, or do we speak with confidence to ourselves? Each choice is a small fight, and each small fight builds the person we become. The beauty of this battle is that it shapes our character. When we overcome fear, we become braver. When we fight laziness, we become stronger. When we defeat negative thoughts, we become wiser. Every inner battle changes us from the inside out. And over time, the victories inside create the victories outside. So, when you feel fear, doubt, or laziness, remember, you are standing in the middle of the most important battle of your life. The decision you make will not only affect your day, but your future. No victory comes without a fight, and the most meaningful fight is the one within yourself. Embrace it, face it, and win it, because every inner victory makes you unstoppable in the outside world. Episode 4: The Price of Sacrifice and Discipline. Every victory has a price. Nothing valuable in life comes without sacrifice. When people say they want success, they often imagine the joy of winning, the applause of others, or the reward that comes at the end. But what they forget is the journey, the discipline, and the sacrifices that make the victory possible. Without paying the price, the victory cannot be real. Sacrifice is about giving up something small today for something bigger tomorrow. It may mean choosing to study when friends are relaxing, or saving money when others are spending, or training hard when your body wants to rest. At the moment, sacrifice feels heavy, but it builds strength, patience, and focus. Every time you give up a small comfort for a greater goal, you are moving closer to victory. Discipline is the tool that makes sacrifice possible. It is the ability to keep going, not only when you feel motivated, but also when you feel tired, bored, or discouraged. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. With discipline, you do not wait for inspiration to act. You act first, and inspiration follows. This is why disciplined people achieve more than talented people who do not work. Look at soldiers, athletes, or great leaders in history. Their victories were not the result of one lucky moment. They were the result of years of discipline. They woke up early, trained hard, studied deeply, and stayed focused when others gave up. They sacrificed comfort, rest, and sometimes even personal pleasure, because their goal was greater than all of these things. Without sacrifice, there would be no greatness. Sacrifice also teaches us self-control. In a world where everything invites us to take the easy path, fast food, quick entertainment, instant rewards, saying no becomes an act of strength. Choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure is not easy, but it builds true power. Each time you resist the easy choice, you are sharpening your willpower. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you are proving to yourself that you can control your life instead of letting life control you. But sacrifice is not only about giving up. It is also about building something new. When you give up laziness, you gain productivity. When you give up fear, you gain courage. When you give up wasting time, you gain knowledge and skills. Every sacrifice brings a reward, even if it is not visible right away. Sometimes the reward comes slowly, but when it arrives, it changes everything. There is also a deep connection between sacrifice and freedom. People often think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But true freedom comes from discipline. A person without discipline is controlled by laziness, bad habits, or emotions. A person with discipline is free to create the life they want. Sacrifice today gives you freedom tomorrow. Imagine a student who sacrifices time for study. At first, they miss some fun activities. But in the future, their knowledge gives them better opportunities and more choices. Imagine an athlete who sacrifices comfort to train. At first, the training feels painful, but in the future, their strength and success bring them respect and achievement. The price may be high, but the result is worth it. We must understand that the path of discipline and sacrifice is not easy. Many people start but do not continue because they expect quick results. They want the reward without paying the price. But the truth is clear. There is no easy road to true victory. Every great achievement carries the weight of discipline behind it. When you think about your own life, ask yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice? Am I ready to give up comfort, distraction, or excuses for something greater? Am I ready to fight through boredom, difficulty, and pain to reach the result I dream of? The answer to these questions will decide the size of your victory. No victory comes without a fight, and no fight is won without sacrifice and discipline. If you want to change your life, you must first accept the cost. But remember, the cost is temporary, the reward is permanent. The pain of sacrifice lasts for a short time, but the pride of victory lasts forever. Episode 5: The Victory That Transforms Your Life. At the end of every struggle, after all the sacrifices and discipline, comes the moment of victory. But victory is not only about winning a medal, receiving a prize, or hearing applause. True victory is deeper than what the eyes can see. It is the transformation of the person who has fought, sacrificed, and refused to give up. No victory, big or small, leaves a person the same. It always changes them, makes them stronger, and shapes their character in powerful ways. Victory teaches us the meaning of persistence. It shows that the hours of work, the days of discipline, and the months of sacrifice were not wasted. Every step, no matter how small, was part of a bigger story. The fight, the pain, the moments of doubt, they were all part of the journey that created the winner. And when victory finally comes, it feels different because you know what it cost. It is not a gift. It is not luck. It is the reward of effort. The most powerful part of victory is that it builds confidence. Once you achieve one goal through struggle, you begin to believe that you can achieve more. You realize that your limits are not fixed, but flexible. You see that hard work and patience can push those limits further and further. With each victory, you stop fearing challenges because you know you are capable of facing them. This confidence does not come from words. It comes from action, from fighting and winning. Victory also brings gratitude. When you fight hard for something, you value it more. A person who gets everything easily often does not appreciate it. But the person who works, sacrifices, and suffers for a goal treasures the reward. They respect the journey and feel thankful for the strength they gained along the way. Gratitude makes the victory even sweeter because it connects you to the meaning of your struggle. However, true victory is not only about beating others, it is about conquering yourself. The biggest enemy is often not outside, but inside. Laziness, fear, doubt, excuses. When you defeat these inner enemies, you win the greatest victory. You become the master of your choices, the captain of your life. No one can take that away from you. Winning over yourself is more powerful than winning against any opponent. Victory also inspires others. When people see your discipline, your courage, and your success, they begin to believe that they too can achieve something. Your story becomes a light for them, showing that hard work really does bring results. In this way, victory is not only personal, it becomes something that touches others, encouraging them to fight their own battles. It is important to understand that victory is not the end of the road. It is not the last step, but a new beginning. Each victory opens the door to a bigger challenge, a higher goal, and a deeper purpose. That is why the strongest people never stop after one win. They celebrate, they feel grateful, but then they set their eyes on the next mountain. Because life is not about one fight or one success, it is about constant growth. When you look back after a victory, you realize that the fight itself was as important as the result. The long nights of work, the mornings when you wanted to give up, the sacrifices you made, these moments shaped you. The fight gave you skills, wisdom, and resilience that will stay with you forever. Even if the victory disappears, the person you became during the fight remains. That is the real reward. So, what does victory mean in your life? It means becoming a stronger version of yourself. It means building character, courage, and self-control. It means proving to yourself that you can fight, that you can rise, that you can win. It means showing the world and, more importantly, yourself, that no obstacle is too big when you refuse to give up. Remember this truth. No victory comes without a fight, but no fight is wasted when it leads to growth. Even when you lose, if you gave your best, you win something inside. But when you truly win after a long fight, that victory changes everything. It makes you ready for the next challenge, ready for the next step in your journey. Victory is not only about the moment when the world claps for you. Victory is the silent pride in your heart when you know you fought hard and never surrendered. That pride stays forever. That is why no victory can be achieved without a fight. But every fight, if you stay strong, can lead you to a victory that transforms your life.